Notruf 112.2 was just announced. So let's talk about this. Hello friends of the Northern Entertainment and welcome to this, well, rather special video. Nordrhein TV just released recently a video, today in fact, they released a video announcing that the game Notruf 112 will have a successor, and that is Notruf 112.2, so part 2 of it. Now, if you bought Notruf 112.1, then you might be a little bit angry because you paid a lot of money, and you might think, oh, they should maybe fix first what's broken in Notruf 1 before we get there to another game. Well, we will talk about this in a little bit later on, but let's start from the beginning. The video that Nordrhein TV released was, or is, on YouTube, and the card that links you to the video is right here, so you can of course go and watch the video. Unfortunately, it is completely in German, so if you want to know what it will or what is said in the video, then you will have to watch this video, which is, by the way, the footage in the background is a Notruf 112 part 1, so only the voiceover is new. You might have seen this video even before. Let's start from the beginning. So basically, this game, the game engine, is a redesign of the original game, and this time the game is based on multiplayer because Kinetic realized that making a game, a single player game, and plopping a multiplayer on top of it, the netcode does not really like that. Of course, that is something that we've seen with other games happening before. That started out without multiplayer, got the multiplayer as an almost afterthought, and well, the netcode did not like that at all. So that will be changed in Notruf 112 part 2. This will be indeed based on multiplayer from the beginning, with multiplayer in mind. Based on that are some of the features, and that is joining and leaving running games at any point in time. The AI will take over your position that you leave in any point of the mission, or conversely, you can join a running game and the will take over from the AI. That is supposed to work seamlessly. There will also be, and that is going to be very, very important for a lot of us that are avid followers of the genre, and that were a little bit disappointed by the rather lacking options of modding in Notruf 112 part 1. There will be full modding availability. How it's gonna work is basically like they showed us with the Bus Sim 18, and that is, you have the Unity engine. You can port from the Unity engine in your preferred 3D modeler. You can do what needs to be done, and will then from the from your 3D model or from your 3D program, from your modeling program, you can export as asset pack and can import it back into the game. Now, how exactly that will be done is obviously still to be decided, if that's going to be over workshop or if that's going to be a game internal thing. There is another thing that was very interesting, and that is again coming to the multiplayer version. Every update will also bring a updated Linux version, which you can run on a dedicated server. Yes, so dedicated server will be a thing, which of course will be helping with performance issues and netcode issues that you had in the past, lag and lacking synchronicity of the gameplay. These things should be fixed with this new game coming out. Overall, if you look at the video that Ansgar posted, then you will see that the UI was simplified. It is a more cleaner UI. No more function keys are to be pressed. It is more of the quote-unquote console approach, where you have the hotbox, kind of a square version of the hot wheel that you have, for example, in games like GTA. No more procedural buildings. So for those of you that don't know that, Notruf 112 part 1 had procedurally generated buildings, which meant, and also the calls were procedurally generated, which means you have a certain code, but a lot of things are random because of this randomness and because you have to keep everything fairly simple so that the code can actually work with it. You have repetitive interiors and whatnot. You have only a certain number of interiors that are generated. This will be done different in this version, insofar that the buildings that can be involved in fires will have customized, hand-built interiors. They have a new interior or a new modeler on the team that will be nothing else but make interiors and buildings and so on. So that not every building can burn, but those that can burn, they will have actually nice interiors with handrails. You know, that was always a big pet peeve of mine, that there are no handrails, and you probably will see this in the background video here at some point too. So another update is that the AI drivers are completely overhauled. They went more from a random driving, what they do right now, or semi-random driving, because as you've seen many times before here in the video, in version 1, the drivers are just like on rails pretty much. They drive all to the side the same way, and that's not going to be the case with the new AI drivers. Some will react the way you expected, some will just react like real drivers would. But overall, the AI, when they don't have to react, will be based on, well, pretty much like your Carrera racing track. They will be running on tracks, and that will make it a much more performant, even on lower systems. Stationware, yeah, that was a big one too. Stationware is going to be a thing. As you are on the station, and you are not on a call, you will have stationware. If you have to go on a call, you can go, and in the video of Ansgar's, it was still shown that you had to go to the locker, but in the final game, they were talking about how that is going to be your turnout gear. That is beside the apparatus, just like you have it in real life, where you can jump into your turnout gear, because it is beside the apparatus most of the time, at least in full-time fire departments, of course. That being said, there is of course also, and that is a big one, a new fire system. They went away from the fluid simulation that they used initially for fire, which the idea was good. Unfortunately, it wasn't very performant for the most part, as unfortunately many of you guys noticed. And also, the fire didn't look as good as it could have. Now the fire system, while still parts of it are based on this fluid simulation, the fire system itself is based on a particle system, which is much more performant, looks better. And also the changes on the fire system, they are going to be that there is actual fire damage. This was again demonstrated in this video of Ansgar. It was demonstrated insofar that you had a normal vehicle which started out with just like a normal vehicle, and as the fire progressed, the paint was obviously getting charred. Not completely, but that is really where the fire is. There will be damage, and it will also leave traces on the road, and so on and so on. So overall, again, I can only encourage you, watch the video as well, but listen to my voiceover, because it's gonna help you. Another thing is, in terms of the fire damage, of course, there are things like bursting windows depending on heat. That is simulated, that the heat is progressively building up to the point where you have windows bursting and stuff like that. The apparatus, all apparatus is getting a complete overhaul, visually as well as functionally. What that means is that the apparatus will have interactive displays. Interactive displays is nothing new. If you know bus simulator, if you know flight simulators, interactive cockpits are not really new, but it will be something that you have there. Is you can actually click the button in, or they are not sure yet. It's going to be either fully interactive displays where you can click the button in the actual, in that case, cabin, for example, for the blue lights, and the blue lights will come on, or it's going to be just, quote unquote, a feedback for you that the displays light up according to what you just pressed. The pump will have complete functionality with interactive features. The displays on the pumps will work, and you will be able to set pressures and so on. There will be completely new apparatus as well. There will be new apparatus in terms of a brand new turntable ladder, the new one that the full-time fire department in Mülheim has. And another thing that was mentioned later in the video that I thought was very interesting, and it was always mentioned, it was just casually mentioned really, was the fact that it will not only be one fire department. The map is going to be in two parts pretty much. There will be a river that's connected via bridges. And on one side you have the full-time fire department. On the other side you will have a volunteer fire department. So you can go about your day until you get the famous pager call, and then you will respond to the station, will jump into your turnout gear, will get into your apparatus, and will go wherever you need to go. Now what they don't know yet is whether or not it's going to be the case of that you have a volunteer and a professional firefighters work together, or if it's going to be more a case of as you start the game you decide, okay, I want to be professional firefighter, or I want to play the role of the professional firefighters today, or I want to be volunteer. And that, of course, a lot of us are volunteer firefighters or former volunteer firefighters, active, retired, whatever. So that is really exciting news, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they realize that. Now, of course, because there is this Unity engine and there is full modability, and they mentioned especially that there will full modability also of the lights, this makes me very hopeful that we might have a nice base to get maybe some decent modding going on the American side as well. But that, of course, is far down the road. That is just me personally hoping for something new to come up there, but we will see what happens as the time goes on. And I try my best. I haven't known about this at all. I was taken completely aback by that, or completely blindsided by that. That's why I pretty much stopped what I was doing in the office, came down here and recorded quickly this little video for you guys. But yeah, it's rather exciting to hear all that. But let's get back to what else we know now, what else was said in the video, and that, of course, is the missions itself. While they were procedurally generated on Notruf 112 Part 1, on Notruf 112 Part 2, they will be more on rails. But that being said, there will be a certain set of parameters, and it is kind of like in a roleplay game where you roll your dice, and based on what you roll, you will have different parameters you have to deal with. For example, and the example was given here, a house fire that could be either just a simple one-room fire that is easy to extinguish with no people trapped, or it could be a full-out apartment on fire with people trapped on the balcony. And what was also mentioned, what I like there, is that will be rescued via turntable ladder. And so basically, or also a traffic accident, they have certain positions on the map. So that is basically how it's done on Emergency 4. You have predefined positions, but you have different parameters that will be called upon by the mission script, and which is really randomized. So that is exciting to hear, and should also help again with the performance, because your computer doesn't have to do that much work because it's not as randomized. Procedurally generated always sounds great and works for many games really good. However, out of experience with simulators in particular, and or with simulators in general, and firefighting games, emergency games in particular, randomized generation is your biggest enemy, because it just gets way too complex, way too fast, and that can even bring the biggest powerhouse machine down on its knees. Last but not least, yeah, what should you expect in terms of release date? We don't know yet. Release date, as far as I know, is not known yet. Please don't ask for it either. I just don't know. I will keep you guys updated as soon as I know something new, or as soon as I see another video that's in German and you guys can't understand it. I will, of course, update you right away. And last but certainly not least, it was mentioned that the buyers of the first version of Notruf 112 Part 1 will get some form of a goodie, some form of a bonus if they buy Notruf 112 Part 2. What this bonus is, how this goodie looks like, if it's going to be a rebate or what kind of shape or form, it's unclear at this point. There are, of course, many moving parts, many logistics that you have to think about. And yeah, so that's basically it. That's it in a nutshell. In a nutshell, this was a 20-minute video. I tried to be as on point as possible. But if you are still here at the 20-minute mark, then thank you so much for watching. I do hope you guys are excited for this as much as I am. And by all means, as I said earlier, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this. And until next time, this is the Northern Alex signing off. Thanks for watching and God bless.